I don't even care that Trump won, to be honest. I just like being right. You know, I did call this in the last video. Some of you doubted us in the comments. Oh, it's going to be funny. Come and check what he's proven wrong. Well, how'd you like me now? Bit more of this for you. Oh, God, you've got to have a laugh, haven't you? You've got to have a laugh. You've got to enjoy things. I'm not sure everyone in the world has this opinion right now as Donald Trump is elected the 47th president of the United States of America. And look, he didn't just win, he cleaned up. And look, maybe I'm a bit too relaxed about this because, you know, Kamala's been saying he will be the next Adolf Hitler. Maybe you should be fucking scared. Maybe I should be terrified because, you know, really in the next 24 hours, we should see it all kicking off now because Hitler's won. I fucking love Americans.
Frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond.
It's certainly been the funniest. I've got to give him that.
And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to
become Hitler. Apparently, that's what they've been saying. I'm waiting for it. He's going to reveal it all any day now.
Help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal.
Doesn't sound much like Hitler. I'm a bit worried that there's been a bit of false advertising from Kamala. I think maybe she's misled me. Starting to question things.
So I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Fair play. He nailed it. And look, I do feel sorry for Kamala because when it comes to an election, if you ain't first, you're last. There was a couple of moments, I must admit, on the run up to the election where I thought, not so sure you're getting this, like.
Okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that. Because it's about all of us. It's about all of us.
That was so bad. That might be one of the most cringeworthy moments in the history of the world. From the beginning of time until... But it's about all of us. Don't forget. Fuck me. I really am going to miss her. And before anyone jumps in about how I love the right wing or anything like that, because I fucking hate both the right and the left in the UK. I think they're all fucking useless. And I certainly don't really give a shit about American politics, although I just think it's far more entertaining than ours. Ours is just depressing. I think for a lot of people, it's the same. You're just trying to pick the least bad person in a completely corrupt world of politics. And the one thing I really dislike is the woke shit that we've seen in the last sort of 10 years. And if you're an opponent of that, I'm more likely to vote for you. Do you know what I mean? And that was one of the ways that I predicted that Kamala was going to go down. Ironically, that's one of the ways she got her start in politics, because she used to on politician. Forget it. It's another story for another day. It's a popularity contest, all right? Yes, part of it is the policies, but how likable is a person is a real key thing to them getting elected. And Trump might not be the most likable guy you'll ever meet by any means, but he does have moments where he's funny, or he's entertaining, or he can say something that's remotely intelligent. She was dry as fuck and barely could speak in coherent sentences, and after 4 years of Joe Biden, we're going to need someone who's a bit more coherent than her. She also tries to be funny, and she is the least funny person I've ever seen in my life. And then the way she overcompensates with that laugh of hers is ridiculous. It makes her even less funny. And the Democrats would have known all of this had they actually just made her compete for the nomination instead of hand selecting her, ironically, completely not democratic at all, and pushed her into everyone's faces. Said, here you go, like her. They got so lazy. They're like, well, she's a woman, she's a minority, that'll do. You know, this is to become president of America, you know. It's going to take a bit more substance than that, like. And they just really underestimated people. They basically thought, we'll use the media to gaslight people into making them feel like they're racist or sexist just because they prefer Trump over her. And people weren't buying it. People actually care about things like the economy, immigration, which are directly linked if you do your fucking research. Free speech, not going to war, like, all of these things are important to people, and I think they just thought, they'll not care. Do you know what I mean? And that's before I even get onto this woke shit from the left about how they want to transition children and all of that insane bullshit, man. What the fuck are they thinking? That's how they fucked it. They lost it when they stopped just being common sense values and sane thinking. And yes, Donald Trump might be a rich, white, old man, but he proved on those core issues, he's better than her on all of them. And he can be more likable than her even. And I just think they forgot, like, oh, you can't just act your way to this shit, you know? Like, you actually have to have a bit about you. Because this isn't about us finding the perfect person and going, Donald Trump is this, Donald Trump is that. It's about finding someone who can do the better job of being the president. And it was clear as day that it was Donald Trump who was going to be that person out of those two. I don't even know if I trust her to clean the fucking White House. She's just so incompetent when you listen to her. And as much as it would be a powerful thing to have a female president who's a minority, I think that they just really underestimated the intelligence of women out there. Like, as if women are supposed to just go, you've got a vagina, I've got a vagina, I'll vote for you then. She had nothing to her. And I'm pretty sure that the women out there who do want to see a female president want the first female president to not be an idiot. So yes, it was the choice of lesser of two evils, and it was very obvious who to choose. And look, I believe there's a level of corruption in all politicians, but it was very obvious that she was there for the benefit of the corporate donors who pay for her, and not the average American person. That was obvious. Every single time she was pushed to commit to an answer of a question that would prove that she was for the American people, she would hover around it and not answer it every single time, and that's when you know what's coming. At least Trump gave some assurances. And ironically, the more the media tried to make Trump out to be the bad guy, the Adolf Hitler, and all of this crazy nonsense when he's already been president before, and none of that Hitler shit happened last time, the more the average person started to think, I think he might be the better of the two, because you're all the people who've lied to us over so many countless things in the last 20 years that maybe we now know that you're the bad guys in the media, and we probably should do the opposite of what you're telling us to do right now. That's how little people trust the mainstream media. You fucked it. Because you've made it too obvious. They used everyone from Barack Obama to Beyonce to anyone who'd ever been to a Diddy party, and it had no effect. They even tried to suppress the fact that Donald Trump almost got assassinated earlier this year. But you can't wipe out from the memory of people that this 70-year-old man took a bullet, right? Yes, it grazed his ear, right? But still, it was a fucking life-threatening event. Got back up, did the power fist, and then kept on running for president at 70 years old. Do you know how many people would have said, fuck this shit, I'm going to a beach? He clearly showed bravery, which is a quality people want to see in leaders. Another thing that just tips him way over the top of her. And look, the real sad bit about this is they've now got to explain to Joe Biden why he's got to move house, because, you know, he's going through the stages and that. It could be a bit confusing for him at this point. And look, it did really become obvious how much of a puppet she was the more she spoke, because we've seen her say the same things time and time again in different events.
Are you ready to make your voices heard? Do we believe in freedom? Do we believe in opportunity? Do we believe in the promise of America? And are we ready to fight for it? And when we...
This is so fucking weird, by the way. Like, do you have an original thought in your head? It's never been more obvious that the powers that be have put their hand up her arse and are just making her say the words for them. They just confirm what we've been thinking all along, which is that, yes, they changed the puppet, but the powers that be keep all of the power in the background. And look, the word salad didn't help either. She just struggles with basic sentences.
We're here because we're fighting for a democracy.
By the way, it's so easy for her to just be like, I'm fighting for a democracy. What are your actual policies? What are you standing on here? What are you really going to invoke in terms of changes? Because it's so easy for her to say the basic thing of, this is all about democracy. She never committed to hardly anything throughout her whole fucking campaign.
Understand the difference here, moving forward. Moving forward, understand the difference here. What we are looking at is a difference in this election. Let's move forward and see where we are.
See where you are. Where are we? Where are we? Who the fuck knows? And look, if this is my last video on Kamala, we got to make sure we do the greatest hits, right? We got to make sure we are unburdened by what has been.
What can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know?
You know?
Unburdened by what has been.
What can be, unburdened by what has been.
What can be. Unburdened by what has been.
What we can see, what we believe can be, unburdened by what what can be, unburdened by what has been.
Oh, God. By the way, this is a 4-minute video of her saying this. The same thing. This is what you say when you've got nothing to say. Do you know what I mean? It's just bullshit. And look, one of the worst times she got exposed was when that teleprompter went out. And that's when we knew, you don't have a fucking thought in your head, do you?
Remember his number? 32. Today we got 32 days until the election.
I can't believe this. That big deep breath was right when the fucking teleprompter stopped working, and that face change was, oh, fuck. I got to use my own brain now. What am I going to come out with?
So 32 days.
32.
32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. All right. 32 days.
She's just not smart. There should be a bare minimum level of IQ to fucking run for president. And the last two people that the Democrats have put forward, one was virtually brain dead. I mean, you could say that about both of them. And the other one wasn't smart enough. Christ, man.
And we know we will do it.
She's so dumb. It's just so dumb, man. If you're the Democratic Party and you're the one choosing these people, you need to be fired. And the ironic thing is, even though Biden was a fucking vegetable, she still couldn't outperform him in a single county. I think she's down like 20 million votes from him. She'll kick herself when she realizes she couldn't even equal a vegetable. That can't be good for her fucking self-esteem, that. Ironically, Biden will be feeling quite smug because she shafted him to get the presidency, and she didn't even make it. Of course, you'll have to realize where the fuck he is before you can feel smug, but he will get there. And her vice president was such a weak little bitch of a man as well. Trump had multiple people who you think you could choose a vice president from. Tulsi, the female, very strong candidate for a future female president, potentially. J.D. Vance went on multiple podcasts, held his own, really came across as a decent, common sense kind of talker. RFK, a former Democrat himself, who was part of the ultimate Democrat family and the Kennedys, showing that them lot aren't even worth being a part of anymore. I'm fucking sick of it. Saying that he's going to go after Big Pharma, clean up all of the health situation in America, because obviously it's a fucking unhealthy country. And then at the back of the queue, you've got possibly the most powerful person he could have in his corner in Elon Musk. And I know a lot of people might not like Elon Musk, but what he did in buying Twitter and creating an actual platform whereby it can't be regulated and controlled and basically suppress the information that will prove how many lies are coming out of legacy media and the left. He created a platform where we could see the truth. So when the quotes come out from Trump that I'm trying to make him look like this evil dictator and all of that, then you see the whole interview on Twitter or whatever, and you immediately can see it being cross-examined. That might have been the difference maker between Trump winning and losing. But more importantly, it gave people an actual platform to have some sort of freedom of fucking speech. And whether or not you're a part of the right or the left, or you don't really care like me, one thing I think we should all agree on is freedom of speech is one of the most important things in the world. And people are slagging Elon Musk on his own platform off daily. Huge amounts of fucking tweets going at him, but he allows it because he actually believes in the process of that. And I have to respect that. And look, one of the ways Kamala fucked this for herself is it was all about Donald Trump being bad and not enough about what she could actually bring to the table. The more Kamala spoke, the less believable she became. She was the same person who was claiming Joe Biden was sharp as a tack. And then literally you've been told to take over for him because he's not able to run for president. How was he able to be president then? Who the fuck's running the country? And then she comes out with more bullshit speeches like this.
And are we ready to fight for it? And when we fight, we win.
One does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree the government shouldn't be telling her what to do.
Oh, yeah. I like that about the government not telling women what to do with their bodies. The same person who said that we all had to get all of those injections though, right? You're that same person. Okay, just so we're clear on that. Otherwise, we're fired. Remember that? Yeah, cool, yeah. And it's funny because this whole abortion thing, obviously I understand that that's important to women, fair enough, but they're acting like Donald Trump had said that he was going to take away their ability to have abortions when he specifically clarified over and over again, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it up to the states. But she just consistently lied and said he did say that.
And look, Donald Trump's not done. He would ban abortion nationwide. Yes, even here in Pennsylvania, if he were successful.
She's literally fucking got no shame, like. And look, I get it, you're a politician, that's part of it, but come on. And that's the beauty of where Twitter came in, because they would do this all the time, and they would get fact-checked, and they would have clips beneath it showing he said the exact opposite of that. And that's what we've not had before. And it just beggars belief about how much we've been, like, completely duped through legacy media having all of the control over what we're told. And Elon Musk is really disrupting that right now. He wants to fucking be careful, man. For some of the powerful people out there, he's becoming a little too powerful, I'm sure. And Kamala would come out with things like Donald Trump's going to only give tax breaks to the rich. He's all about the rich. And it's like, hold on a second. Your campaign has spent 3 times what Donald Trump's campaign has. He hasn't had Beyonce. He hasn't had all these fucking celebrities he's been paying a fortune to. All the rich guys are actually funding her campaign. She's a more bigger puppet than he could ever be. And that's just common sense, by the way. That's not to say Donald Trump hasn't got funders, hasn't also taken money from people. I'm sure he has, but she has gone off the fucking scale with it. She had like £1 billion in a fucking fund within however many weeks of announcing herself as president. She should not be allowed to do that. And it sort of destroys the notion that the left are for the working man, that, you know, the average American out there, which, you know, that was kind of what I grew up with, thinking about, you know, in my country, the left were the more for the little guy and the right were more for the elite. And that's just bullshit, man. That's been destroyed. Don't get me wrong, in my country, they're both absolutely fucking corrupt as fuck. But in America, you watch the Clintons, both of them, Hillary and Bill, who worked in office for decades, shouldn't have been very rich, right? Yeah, they were, you know, earning a decent wage. They had a charity. They're worth over 100 million now. How does that happen? Exactly. These people are all bought and paid for, and it's about choosing the path of least corruption. And the great thing about this election is that people had a reference point of 4 years with Trump, 4 years with Biden and Kamala. Let's choose which one we preferred. And it was clear as day, even if they didn't really like Trump that much, they preferred the way the world was under him. And actually, Trump went through COVID, so it was actually worse. His circumstances were harder by a mile. And as much as I don't like politicians and I think they're all scum, I do appreciate political campaigning and the thought process that goes behind it and who makes the smarter moves. And one of the smartest moves that was made along the way with this one was Trump going into new media and podcasts. Because most politicians, they're not real people. They're literally trained to give you these buzzword answers, and they're not designed to have conversations. They're just designed to say the same thing over and over again, because that's what they get trained on behind closed doors. But when you get into an open podcast and an open conversation, you've got hours to fill. You can't hide away behind your memorized lines. You gotta be the real you. And when Trump did the fucking Joe Rogan podcast, as I predicted in my last video on this, by the way, it fucking blew her away. Because she couldn't go and do that. And she bottled it. Not only did she bottle it, her fucking vice president bottled it. Whereas Elon Musk did it, JD Vance did it, Donald Trump did it. The whole fucking team was showing up on Joe Rogan. That was a gangster move, and it paid off massively. Because while the whole left side are calling him the new Hitler, and he's this crazy dictator, and he's a fascist, and he's just sitting there in his suit, presidential, calm, cool, collected, having a very, you know, fun, intelligent conversation with Joe Rogan. It really just destroyed a lot of what people were trying to make him out to be, because he came across well. Even if you didn't love him afterwards, you didn't come away from that going, he's the new Hitler, he's a fascist, and all this other stuff. You didn't believe it. And it showed the strength of new media in getting 46 million views. She wasn't willing to put herself in the firing line and be asked some of the hard questions about immigration and the like by Joe Rogan. She wasn't going to go near that. And ironically, she should have done, because she needed it more than Donald Trump did. We've had decades to work out who the fuck Donald Trump is. We kind of know who he is now, but even though some people still had to see the podcast that would have helped them, we know who he is roughly. People don't know who Kamala is. And they've just seen these tiny little snippets, and she had a lot of ground to make up on this guy. And instead of having the courage to try and do that, she fucking dropped her ass. And the more successful the Republican campaign got, the more desperate and like sad and pathetic the left-wing media became in trying to demonize them. So you say this, yeah, this was the Madison Square Garden event put on by Donald Trump, which he does many events. It just happened to be in New York. He's campaigning. They somehow decided to link that to a Nazi event fucking nearly 100 bloody years ago. Why? Just because it was held in the same arena.
But that jamboree happening right now, you see it there on your screen, in that place is particularly chilling. Because in 1939, more than 20,000 supporters of a different fascist leader, Adolf Hitler, packed the garden for a so-called pro-America rally. A rally where speakers voiced anti-Semitic rhetoric from a stage draped with Nazi banners.
You get the point. They're just trying to link in any way, shape or form they can Hitler to Donald Trump. It's so desperate. And do you know what else it is? It's insulting to our intelligence. You think that because he was in the same building. Do you know who else has been in that building? Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson. Do you know what I mean? Are they Nazis as well? You fucking idiot. And ironically, the leader of the Democratic Party at the time, Bill Clinton, about 20 years ago, was there doing his own rally. Does that make him a Nazi? This is so embarrassing. Now, one thing that did go wrong at the rally for Donald Trump was a guy who was warming up for him like 4 hours before he came on stage. Tony Hinchcliffe, the comedian, dropped a bad joke. It reflected badly on the whole night.
I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
So apparently Puerto Rico has an issue with like garbage and trash building up around the island, on the island, etc. And he's made a joke. It wasn't even a good joke, but you know what this lot are like. Anything that they can connect Trump to that makes him look bad, even if he didn't even say it, even if he doesn't even know it was said, they're going to use it. And that's what they did.
It's worth noting that while we showed you that joke about the pile of garbage that comedian made, he also said something else about Latino voters that I can't play because I know a lot of you are probably at the breakfast table with your little kids, and if we played it, you'd have to shut us off because it was so incredibly crude that it's a family program and we're just not going to do it.
Yeah, I think he said something about them wanting to make babies and how they come inside and all of that. He said a lot of dodgy jokes. I don't know why they decided to have him because he's known for that. If you like that sort of stuff, you're going to go to his shows. Probably not the best place to have him. That was a major fuck up. However, Donald Trump didn't say any of those things. It was him. So you can't blame Donald for them directly. At least you think. But tell that to Joe Biden, who, he wasn't happy about it. Let me tell you.
And just the other day, a speaker at his rally called Puerto Rico a floating island of garbage. Well, let me tell you something. I don't know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Ooh, he fucked up. Biden fucked up. Because, Donald Trump has got half the country voting for him. And Biden said his supporters are garbage. That's actually worse than what the original comment was about there being a garbage problem with Puerto Rico. You're calling all of these people who are Americans, who you are the president of, garbage. But I've got to say, if you're part of the Trump team, you're thinking, thank you. He's just completely changed the narrative and fucked it for Kamala, because while we were using that to attack Trump, we're now in defense mode. We've given him the moral high ground, and now they can attack us. Some people thought that Joe Biden might have deliberately said that because he was trying to sabotage Kamala. I do not think for 1 second Joe Biden has the cognitive ability to think on that level right now. He's probably chewing baby food as we speak. And this is where Trump really capitalized, because like I said earlier, he might not be the most likable guy in the world, but he's more likable than her, and he can have a bit of fun on camera. And that's exactly what he did.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
The fact that they got him all dressed up like the garbage dude and then had the Trump thing on the side, that's fucking clever marketing. That's how you flip an insult from another person, direct it on them, and make him the butt of the jokes. We like that as people. You're taking the piss. We all do that every day in our lives. But you're doing it in a funny way where you're not being you're not calling him the next Hitler. You're doing it in a funny way. And when he got on stage after being in the garbage truck, for me, this was one of the most endearing moments of his campaign, where he came across as so normal. And that is something that she just never, ever achieved once.
They brought this brand new, gorgeous truck, wonderful driver. He looked like Cary Grant in his prime. You know who that is? This beautiful driver. And he drove that big thing up. And I said, man, this is bad, because now I have all the cameras are all watching. Look at all the fake news. They were, most of them. No, most of them, many of them were there. And I'm saying, oh, boy. One little mistake with these guys and your political career's over. You can't even. So I said, man, if I don't get up there, this is going to be very embarrassing. These stupid people, they'll say, he's cognitively and physically impaired. And
I can't do that when I'm alongside of this great athlete. I got to get up to that. So look, the first stair is like up here. I'm saying, shit. So I had the adrenaline going and I made it.
That insecurity that he's letting us in on of like, fuck, like I'm going to make a dick out of myself here. Politicians don't give that away. They never let you in like that. That's unique to him. I don't remember ever hearing a politician talk like this. Even though it's about something arbitrary like fucking jumping onto a fucking truck, it makes you relate to him. We've all felt insecure about having to do something in front of people before. Boom. Killing it.
And I come into the arena and I say, where's my jacket? I want to get out of this stage. And they said, it would be unbelievable if you could wear it on stage. I said, and I said, no way. I got 25,000 people standing outside. I got all these people here. There's no way I'm wearing it on stage. They said, oh, okay, sir. I said, get me my jacket. But if you did, you know, it actually makes you look thinner. I said, oh. And they got me. I said, I want to wear it on stage.
The fact that he's letting people in, like, on that private conversation where he was sweet talked into wearing this on stage and how he was insecure about his weight, and all of this just makes him more relatable than Kamala. Immediately. Does it make him the perfect person? Does it make him a great politician? Does it make him the best person ever? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I think he's a miracle worker and that he's going to fucking make America great again. I'm not saying I think that. But his campaign was fucking miles better than hers. That's what I'm saying. Just a contrast, Joe Biden was filmed biting a baby who was dressed like a chicken on Halloween, and you're just like, can you do anything right, mate? Like, what are you doing pushing your face in that baby? Like, he's just the gift that keeps on giving, but he's also fucking terrible, isn't he? Kamala just must have been thinking, oh my God, can someone just lock him away until this election is over? He is fucking ruining this. And then we had more twisting of the narrative from the media where Donald Trump basically commented on Liz Cheney, who became a part of Kamala's team on the run-up to the election. And Liz Cheney is the daughter of Dick Cheney, who was a warmonger, who was a crazy psychopath, to be honest with you. And she seems cut from the same cloth. And he said, look, she's another one who just wants to go to war all the time. I'd like to see her holding the gun in front of a fucking firing squad and see if she's still so fucking keen to go to war. You know, it's easy for you to say, let's go to war when you're sat in Washington and it's not your kids going. But maybe if it was you, you'd think differently. Which I think a lot of us who have this opinion of Donald Trump as this bad guy or whatever, hearing that, you go, yeah, we've been seeing this for fucking years about politicians who are quick to pull the trigger and send kids to war. It's about time someone spoke like that who's in a position of authority. But they twisted it, as they always do.
Even worse, he has increased his violent rhetoric, Donald Trump has, about political opponents, and in great detail, suggested rifles should be trained on former Representative Liz Cheney.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. Yeah, that's exactly what he meant. That is exactly what he meant, didn't he? Yeah. They think nothing of just completely lying. And this is the mistake they made. They think that people won't fucking know that she's lying. It makes you look terrible. But they do have Beyonce, so she can get away with whatever she wants, can't she? So here is Beyonce at the event with Kelly Knowles? I can't remember her fucking name. She's dressed like a geezer for whatever reason. And people thought that they were going to be there to sing. Obviously, everyone's excited. Everyone floods the event. You got all these people in there waiting for Beyonce to sing. She gets on stage, chats a load of shit for a few minutes, bounces, cashes that check from Kamala. Thank you very much. And the problem with that is after Beyonce left, as did many, many other people, and you see people just walking out of the stadium here, and it was a disaster because it just showed like you're paying these people to show up to try and get people's attention. But when they leave, no one's there for you. It's not like the movement that Donald Trump had made. And that's how it was obvious she was going to lose, to be honest, because she was getting fucking booed regularly. And the disgrace about the celebrity endorsement thing is that they were getting paid. They were getting paid millions upon millions. Remember, Kamala had like $1 billion budget. They get up there and they say their thing, but none of them admit they're getting paid. Now, how is it that influencers like myself and every regular YouTuber out here, when we promote a product to you lot, We have to say hashtag ad and all of that good stuff, which I think is completely reasonable and is what should be happening. But yet when I'm telling you who to fucking vote for, I don't have to tell you that I've been paid to say this. That should be fucking changed immediately. Because by comparison, you look at Donald Trump's people who spoke out for him, and you tend to think that I don't think any of these lot were getting paid for it. Just by the way it happened, like Dana White's known Donald Trump for years, Joe Rogan, I don't think for 1 second he would have risked getting paid because his credibility would have gone to shit, and I think he really cares about that. And ironically, it really showed what matters, because Beyonce might be a megastar, but we like you because you're a good singer. We don't care what you've got to say. We don't care what you think. Joe Rogan, on the other hand, people actually fucking listen to. And we found out the difference in a big way in this election.
That when you see celebrities, influencers, musicians, whoever promoting Kamala Harris, it's because they're paid. And I know because they've approached me 3 times now. They always come in with the same offer. We want you to promote Kamala. We want you to say these talking points. And then I see a celebrity like Chrishell from Selling Sunset with a copy paste of that exact email. And then she posts, vote, looking like super hot in a picture. But nobody puts paid post underneath these. It's propaganda. I don't know how it's not considered illegal to do that when it's the election.
It fucking should be. It should be illegal. And now, a word from our sponsors. Can you believe people used to use the same trimmer on their balls as their face and head? That would never happen these days. Not now that Manscaped's around. Introducing the Beard and Balls Bundle, featuring the Lawnmower 5.0 and the Beard Hedger. A trimmer for the moneymaker and another for the boys downstairs. And don't forget, you can get 20% off and free shipping when you use the code TRUE at manscaped.com. Now, first up, I've got to shout out the Lawnmower 5.0. This thing gets your balls smoother than butter. Yeah? Spreadable. What does that even mean? I'm sorry. I get excited doing these. 2 interchangeable skin-safe blade heads, and you can choose between the precise trim or the smooth finish. And not to mention, it's waterproof, so you can do it in the shower. And I can't forget the Beard Hedger. I mean, do you think this just happened by accident? Don't be stupid. That Beard Hedger can give you a neat and tidy stubble look, or you can go full true Geordie if you fancy it. It's got a titanium-coated steel T-blade and 20 length options, so you can achieve any style you want with a twist of the zoom wheel. And both have up to 60 minutes of runtime with an LED charge indicator. You'll never be caught mid-trim with a dead battery. So check out the Beard and Balls Bundle today using the link in the description below. Go to manscaped.com and use the code TRUE at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. But for now, enjoy the video. And for all the paid help and all that shit, she couldn't stop people from straight up booing her. This did not happen to Donald Trump, and that was a massive giveaway.
For America's future. And we understand the opportunity we have before us to turn the page on the fear.
It was clear she was having major issues throughout it. To be fair, they just got super desperate. The closer we got to the election, the more lower they stooped and the more desperate they got. They rolled out Michelle Obama to gaslight everyone into voting for them.
We have every right to demand that the men in our lives do better by us.
What the fuck are you talking about for a start? Like, where's the issues? It's just so casually anti-men agenda there, where she's just like, yeah, it's all the men's fault. When are you going to talk about what you actually stand for as a party, you dicks?
We have to use our voices to make these choices clear to the men that we love. Our lives are worth more than their anger and disappointment. And we are more than just baby-making vessels.
It's just classic gaslighting, by the way. And I feel sorry for every woman who fell victim to this in being whipped up emotionally into feeling like a victim. And that's what you do. You become the victim so that you can point the finger and behave inappropriately and do the cruel shit that you have to do. That is gaslighting 101, what she's doing right now.
If you are a woman who lives in a household of men that don't listen to you or value your opinion, just remember that your vote is a private matter. Regardless of the political views of your partner.
She said that because she knows Kamala's not converting the men. So she's praying that she can divide the household and make sure that the women just vote Kamala no matter what. Fucking mental, this. Like, the level that they operate on. And look, I kind of, it's clever. And that's the scary element of it, of the reverse psychology they use to get these people to do what they want them to do.
You get to use your judgment and cast your vote for yourself and the women in your life. Remember women.
It's all about, you know, just vote for Akash as a woman. That's what she's saying, basically. And then Kamala just got really angry. The closer we got to the election, she got angry as fuck.
Should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States. Never again. Never again. Never again.
At the start of the campaign, it was all about joy. Where did the joy go? The joy went when she looked at the projected numbers. I've got a feeling. And it was funny because while she was doing all of that, Trump was actually making some clever moves about the health of America.
We're also going to make America healthy again. As many of you know, we have talked a lot about getting dangerous chemicals out of our environment and out of our food supply. Today I'm adding that we are going to tackle the exploding rates of childhood depression, suicide, and pediatric cancer. We have numbers that other countries don't have. We don't just want to manage these problems, we want to prevent them from happening in the first place. I will assemble the best and brightest minds, including Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
You know, when you're calling him a dictator and an evil Hitler and all of that, and he's talking about like trying to sort out like childhood depression and all of that, the two just don't add up. Even if you hate Donald Trump or you hate the right wing or whatever, he's just breaking down the image that she's portraying of him while she's over there screaming like a raving lunatic. I mean, who sounds more like Hitler? Do you know what I mean? You don't see him going on like that at all. During this whole thing, he never got angry like that at all. And although for me, this election is pretty inconsequential because it doesn't affect me in either way, I find it fascinating that even the UK media are really pissed about this. You had Channel 4, Sky News, ITV, BBC News, all having a fucking meltdown. None of them were happy about it. And that makes me happy. Do you know what I mean? And I'm kind of jealous that America, you know, are going to have a little bit of a change here. All right, it's not going to change the world as the way they're saying probably. And, you know, Donald Trump will still make some mistakes. But when I look at my government, my God, either side, they're pathetic. Honestly, there's not a shred of testosterone in the entire bunch of fucking weasels we've got in Parliament. And none of them have achieved anything in their life. The more you watch Donald Trump and how he is kind of creative in problem solving, and he has got a pretty good team behind him, you think to yourself, no one should be allowed to run an economy who hasn't previously run a big business before and employed thousands of people. You shouldn't be anywhere near it because you haven't dealt with consequences from decisions like that before. And you don't know what the fuck you're doing. And that's probably why we're in the situation we're in now in England. And one thing I really like about Americans, whether they're left or they're right, obviously, I don't care, right? But that they're proud to be from America and they're proud of what generations of their family have built. And they are patriotic and they give a shit. They wave their fucking flags and they give it USA because that is gone from the UK. That is absolutely gone. And it didn't go away by accident. It was very cleverly bastardized and it was portrayed online and in the media that anyone who is patriotic through right-wing nutcases, unfortunately, are like of the far right, and that you can't be proud to be British unless you're watching England in the World Cup. And the reason they destroyed that is because if people relinquish that and they don't care about where they're from and they don't care about being British and all of that, it's easy to break the country up and just fucking destroy it. So I'd say to Americans, hold on to that patriotism because it's the only thing that'll actually keep a hold of what you've got left. And as much as I'm not expecting this to be like the greatest thing ever and America's going to be completely different from now on, I do think it is going to help them a little bit bring back some old-fashioned values into the community, because the family unit has been so fucking destroyed, hasn't it, by this feminized woke agenda where emotions dictate decisions over rational logic and how best to preserve your country. And that's through shit like what Michelle Obama was doing before. Mind-fucking people into thinking that certain things are the right way to go, otherwise you're racist, otherwise you're sexist. That's how they've done it. Guilting people into it. Instead of providing a good argument, silencing people who disagree with your argument. It is so out of order what's gone on. This is just giving us a ray of hope that we might have a way back to something normal. But I don't expect it to last that long because the machine always wins and there's just too many people who stand to benefit from going in that direction. Like, there's not many people like Donald Trump who have billions in the bank already and don't need to be bought off in the same way. So let's enjoy it while it lasts. This should be a laugh. Anyway, that's all I've got to say for now. I know some of you will be thinking, oh, he loves Donald Trump just because I dislike, you know, Kamala and the left. I don't fucking care, man. I just want a bit of common sense back in the world, because I'm fucking sick of it. Especially because some people are saying he's a Tory because I said that Trump was better than Kamala. I don't fuck with any of them in the UK. So don't fucking try and put that on us as well, you fucks. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the True Geordie YouTube channel if you haven't already, and I'll catch yous on the next one.